I said that part last on purpose because I want to really emphasize you taking care of yourself. If that's you vegging out on the couch, if that's you getting some errands done, if that is you getting your nails done, if that is you moving your furniture around, buying new furniture, then so be it. In this time, because I need you to take a moment for yourself. I don't care if that's 5 minutes a day. In this time to yourself, what I want you to do is to think about the feeling of what it is that you want it to manifest to begin with. You want to manifest a happy marriage. What does that feel like? And don't say to me, well, I've never been married. I didn't ask you that. I said, what does a happy marriage feel like? Think about it. That's why I paused. I want you to really think about this. What does that brand new car feel like? And if you need to go test drive it, although I used to sell cars and we hated this, I still want you to go do that. Okay? Don't waste your time, but also, sometimes you do need to physically see a manifestation for it to happen. Everybody manifests differently. What does it feel like to be in this beautiful home with a staff that takes care of it? What does that feel like? The first time that you sign an employee's check, what does that feel like? Because now you are a successful business owner. What does that feel like? The first time that you get to interview somebody that you've always looked up to, what does that feel like? And so the reason why this Four of Swords energy is strong out of all of these cards is because as you are resting, I want you to meditate on what that's like. I don't care if you're like, well, I suck at meditating. So do I. But you see, there's many forms of meditation. Like I've said a million times, you don't gotta sit crisscross applesauce and, hold your hand in a mudra. I'm sorry if I just screwed that word up. You do, that's great. I love that too. But if you are just taking a moment to sit with yourself and think about what I just asked you, that's meditation. Now you can go into a meditative state and really go in on this, especially if you're about to go to sleep. That's a great time to do it. But take a moment to really think about what I just asked you. What does it feel like to manifest this life that you've wanted? Because what the star card coming out first tells me is that it's already in motion. It's waiting on you. How many times do I have to say this? How many readings have I said it's waiting on you? You know what that tells me anytime I have to say a message over and over again? I sound like a parent right now, and I've never even been somebody's parent. I'm not going to tell you again. I'm not going to say that in any more readings. I'm about to take off my chancla, because if you one more time doubt yourself, I'm going to throw these cards in the air and be like, you know what? You figure it out. You figure it out. Go to some reader who doesn't know what they're talking about. So they can tell you whatever it is you want to hear. Go for it. But you see this beautiful pink tarot deck that's in my hand right now? It tells me everything I need to know. And what I need to know is that many of you still doubt yourself. Why, I don't know. We're working through it. I'm not judging you because I doubt myself as well. I'm always working on my healing. But remember when I said that, yes, we are healing. We're always going to be healing. It's time for us to celebrate. That's where you're at. The celebration part. Where is the sparkling Prosecco? Where is the charcuterie board? Okay. It is time to celebrate yourself. Put on your sparkles. Drink your Saratoga water. More on Saratoga water in another episode. But I need you to celebrate. The manifestations are going to happen whether you like it or not, because we're always manifesting. But you see, I would like for you to actually enjoy it, because if you're so busy worrying, the manifestations don't stay, do they? Because that builds what? Negative momentum. All right, new moons. I've scolded you enough. I think that you got the message. To book a personal tarot reading with me, submit your question for the 6th House Virgo segment, or read the full disclaimer, which includes spiritual consent and listener responsibility, visit the official Lua Nova website, which is luanovapodcast.net. To become a Patreon member, download the Patreon app or visit patreon.com/the Lua Nova podcast. For those of you who said that you really enjoy the collective readings, or you just want to support Lua Nova, you can do so directly via Venmo or Cash App. The Venmo username is at Lua Nova. The Cash App username is $ Lua Nova Podcast. And I appreciate you. Thank you so much for being here. Obrigada. New moons, before we wrap up today's episode, and I check to see if we have any messages from Spirit, I do want to tell you about some upcoming episodes. Like I've said before, there will be a part 3 and a part 4 of Lua Nova Zodiac Island. Thank you for the positive feedback, because I was all over the place when I recorded that and it didn't come out as well as I wanted it to, but I'm going to keep it up. I'm going to try to improve in season 4 when I do part 3 and 4. Okay. And it will be based on the compatibility of zodiac signs, and then I'm not sure what the other part will be. All right. Keep in mind, when it comes to compatibility, it has nothing to do with just your sun sign. Nothing at all. All right. So I'll talk more about that in season 4 when I go over, when we head back to Lua Nova Zodiac Island. And I have not been watching, what is the name of that show? Love Island. I guess they have a spinoff about like where they play games or something. I have not watched that. I did see like a small portion of it and just, it wasn't for me. But, I think I've seen enough reality dating shows to kind of know where I want to go with my version of teaching you about the zodiac. So I think I got enough, content there. I also, next week, this one, you're going to hear that, I will be teaching you about the frequency of water, how water does hold on to whatever it is that you give it. So does rice, but we're going to focus on water, because that is something that you use in spell work and in many forms of spiritual practices. Okay. So I also want to teach you another manifestation technique. At this point in podcasting, and if you're new to my show, there are 3 seasons of Lua Nova and 167 published episodes at the time that you're hearing this, 168 or 169, but you're only able to hear, I think, 100 of it because of the server that my podcast is on. But, and that's not shading them. I'm just saying that they only post some of your seasons and not all seasons. But I say all of that to say that one thing that I've always placed a big emphasis on is the importance of water. Okay. I myself only drink a particular brand. Okay. Now I am not being paid to say this, I don't even know if they work with, podcasters, influencers, etc. I only drink Saratoga because it comes in a blue bottle and it's purified. Well, it's spring water, but it's, it's pure. So I like the sparkling kind. That's just my personal preference. But I want you all, before I get into that episode next week, to get a bottle. It doesn't have to be Saratoga, a glass bottle of water. Okay. The water of your choice. I recommend that it be spring water, but it is up to you. It doesn't have to be sparkling. They do have flat water as well that comes in a glass bottle, but I want it to be in glass based on the lesson that I'm going to be teaching about water. Okay. Now, as far as the manifestation techniques, like I said, in 3 seasons, I have taught you many techniques regarding manifesting. And I have said to you a million times, you don't need techniques to manifest. However, I need you all to understand, those of you who are so quick to be like, well, I don't need techniques. Yes, but other people do. Other people do. So let's stop just being complete shitheads about the fact that some people use techniques to manifest. There's nothing wrong with that. If you have a vision board, that's a technique. If you light a candle, that's a technique. If you cast a spell, that's a technique. If you just say certain affirmations, that's a technique. All of it. If you're like, well, I don't have to manifest, I can, it's just all in my mind. Well, you're right, because we're manifesting all the time. So I don't really place a lot of emphasis on techniques anymore, but there is one that I want to teach you. And I had already recorded the episode back when we were in the middle of our move or right before we were moving, but the audio file got completely ruined. So I'm going to be redoing it. So that's another episode that you have to look forward to for October. I know this is the witches season and I need to do something witchy. Give me a moment. I don't really know what I want to go with that.